And I spent so much time thinking about Bill Belichick. Just for it to get announced on the show, which I love that, I have totally talked myself into Bill Belichick is going to work at North Carolina. I'm fully, completely, and totally prepared to die on the Bill Belichick is going to work at North Carolina hill. I don't know why, but I believe in him, and I think he's going to win there.
So my thought process on Belichick is very simple, that there is no middle ground. Either rousing success or complete failure. That's where I am with Bill Belichick. You know, when he talks about the whole, we're going to run a professional style program, and this is what we've got for nutrition and recovery. Yeah. Buddy, Alabama and Georgia and everybody, they're already doing that. Mississippi State and Ole Miss are doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not exactly reinventing the wheel here. And I don't know if that's a little NFL arrogance. That he's like, you know, I've been in the NFL. I know what it takes. These coaches know. Mm-hmm. They know what they're doing. They have NFL people on their staff who can make all that work for them. But at the same time, there is something to be said about the guy can walk into the room with 6 Super Bowl rings and tell you that no coach in the country knows more about what it takes to play in the NFL than I do. So if you want to be in NFL football,
it's a great sales pitch.
It should be. And I have to think he's smart enough to know that he's going to go out and get aggressive recruiters. Mm-hmm. To bring in some staff, to bring in those guys, to put around him, and you go get an offensive coordinator. Now, one thing that's going to be interesting is when you think about pro style, but with offense these days, pro style offense has a connotation of negativity in the college game, right?
Right.
We want to hear about veer and shoot and then spreading the field and everything, and Nobody really does what you do in the NFL. The NFL takes more from college, I think, nowadays than the college takes from the NFL in terms of offense. So who does he go for an offensive coordinator? Who does he bring in? Does he go get somebody?
What a great question.
I mean, I think he almost has to go and find somebody that he hasn't worked with before, that he knows enough about, that, you know who I would honestly call? I'll give you a name.
DJ Kinney.
No, that's a good – you're on the right page, though. Because somebody that you can – a G5 head coach –
that you know does offense.
That does offense, and look, I can triple your salary.
At least.
Jason Candle.
Ooh, that's a great one. You're hired. You
go get Jason Candle and tell him to run your offense for you. That's a good coach.
Oh, see, gosh,
look what he did.
It. I knew I was going to do it. I knew I was going to do it. It's okay. I knew I was going to do it. Nothing broke. I promise.
This guy.
Nothing broke.
This guy. It's like a baby ostrich.
Worse than that. But what a great pick that is.
And then defensively, Belichick, defensive guy. He'll find
coaching tree.
He's probably going to get his kid, I guess.
Apparently, that's a condition of the contract. His kid's going to be on staff.
Well, that's fine. I wouldn't make him the coordinator. But if you want him to let him coach the secondary or something, that's fine, or whatever.
Somebody says OC Joe Judge. Now, a word or whatever out of Oxford is that Joe Judge is expected to return as an analyst. I believe he has a son on the team.
If Belichick were to call, he'd go.
To be an OC, of course. That's
I can't
totally different
being the OC, though. I think the special teams coach. That would make sense. Mm. But he's never been an off. You can't, if you're Bill Belichick, you can't hire Coleman Hutzler. You can't hire a guy who's never called plays before. You need an offensive coordinator who has called plays in college for a number of years and is familiar with it. You can't do that.
The post-game press conferences, somebody says on the text line, are going to be awesome. We're on to Virginia.
We're on to Duke. All right, now we're on to Duke.
Yeah, I'm still convinced this is going to work. Just because the game is evolving, right? And that's something that we talk about often is you evolve or die in college sports. Mm-hmm. And the game has changed dramatically. Player acquisition has changed. Roster building has changed. And it's getting closer and closer to his comfort zone and his model. And, he wasn't just a head coach. He was the general manager as well. So he did have to build rosters with limited amount of money. He did have to, although in the NFL, everybody has the same amount. In college, obviously, that's not the case. But he did have a finite amount of money that he had to spend to build his roster and did it successfully and won 6 Super Bowls. I know that Tom Brady was a part of it, but Brady didn't win those by himself.
Yeah. And
the connections that he's got. And then, as you mentioned it, the ability to win a living room. He's a pretty dynamic guy, by the way. The press conferences, he's awful.
I think this last few months of him going on these McAfee and has kind of lightened him up a little bit.
Yeah, dating a 24-year-old.
The same way with Saban, I think. You get to see the man underneath the exterior, the interior.
Yeah.
You know, Saban has always been such a, for lack of a better, a hard, what. Mm-hmm. And Belichick was just such a curmudgeon. And now you're getting to see them crack jokes and be fun. And that's something you can build on. And I think Belichick is smart enough to know that, hey, if I go back to being a coach, I can't be the same guy I was in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because it's just a different game. I got to relate to kids. This is not people's job.
Not 33-year-old fathers.
Right. Right. I can't just come in there and just, break on everybody the whole time. I got to be different. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to think Belichick is smart enough to know that. His offensive coordinator hire is going to be really going to be what determines a lot.
Yeah.
If he gets the right guy, I'm going to tell you that, okay, maybe this can work.
Yeah, if he gets Jason Candle,
if he got a Jason,
he's winning the national championship.
A G.J. Kinney, somebody like that who understands college offense and how it works these days and runs tempo.
And recruiting.
And he'll certainly get a quarterback who wants to play for him. Because
imagine that recruiting pitch. My gosh.
I used to coach a guy. I know a little bit about a quarterback.
Tom?
His name was Tom Brady. Won a few games with him.
Somebody on the text line says the guy couldn't even get the Falcons job. We should not gauge the Falcons' decisions.
Maybe he was smart enough to say, nah.
I mean, if the Falcons passed on him, that probably means he's great.
Yeah.
So, if anything, that is another check in the Bill Belichick is going to be successful department.
Here? The Falcons.
Somebody says, I really need somebody to get this reference, but Belichick to Carolina feels similar to John Dutton becoming governor in Yellowstone. I have not seen Yellowstone myself. My dad is like, Michael, watch Yellowstone. I want to talk to you about it. And I just haven't.
My friends are hitting me up for the Penguin. I need to watch the Penguin, they tell me.
That's apparently a good one.
Need to watch that.
Somebody says maybe Freeze can call plays for Bill. He can in 2026 when he's out of the job.
Can you imagine Belichick with Freeze? Oh, Hugh.
It would last a month.
I don't even know if it would last.
Tops.
I don't think we get through the interview. Like, this guy is an idiot.
Somebody says, does he take his girlfriend around on recruiting visits?
I would. I would. Like,
so somebody else says,
you come play for me. Look what you can get.
Yeah.
Huh?
Somebody else says North Carolina probably has as much money as any alumni in college.
That's what I'm thinking. They have the.
You got to get them to buy in, though.
You need Michael Jordan to do for North Carolina what Phil Knight does for Oregon.
Yeah.
Just be like, all right, I got my own brand. Mm-hmm. We're going to get players.
Which, by the way, sidebar here. There is a chart that is getting shared everywhere that has, to the dollar, what every collective has,
which is
available.
It's just made up.
And it's from the NCAA, so people are reporting it as if it's fact, and it is not. And right. the way that you know the most that it is not, isn't that great, that it is not real is because it claims that Oregon only, what was the Oregon's number, like 10 million in their collective? They have a billionaire sports fan telling them, do whatever, I've got you. Mm-hmm. And the NCAA puts out this collective ranking to the dollar list, and people are taking it as gospel. It's not. It is a completely made-up, fabricated list. There is no way that anybody knows what the Grove Collective or Bulldog Initiative has in it, with the exception of the people that run the Grove Collective and the Bulldog Initiative. That's it. And it's just getting shared around, and all that's going to do is create problems within fan bases. It says Nebraska's got more money than Oregon. No, they don't. Oregon, in terms of fundraising and available money for players, probably the richest program in college football because of Phil Knight. Mm-hmm. The aforementioned, I'm getting old, win me a championship, do whatever. I've got billions. Yeah. Just take it and win. It's a shame that Mike Gundy never got that.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, agreed to his pay cut.
Yeah.
What did they have on him? Will and I talked about this on Friday. What did they have on him? You're not getting me to take a pay cut. I have a $26 million buyout. I'm not taking less.
They got the January 6th footage. He was there.
Why does Bill Belichick dress like a bum?
He had the big flagpole. He was trying to to get into the Capitol.
He's dressed like a
Belichick
shaman.
found out. Yeah, no kidding.
What did he say?
Dressed like a shaman, he said. Belichick found out how expensive a 24-year-old cost and had to get himself a new job.
Yeah.